Victor Osimhen still wants the Arsenal transfer, and he's so much focused onto playing in the Premier League, Fabrizio Romano confirms. And another source coming in through from the side of Napoli confirming to us that even Arsenal is still really trying to see it that they make ends meet for this deal. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? It's the 2nd of July, and if you have not yet got ahead to know, France knocked out Belgium yesterday and Portugal knocked out Slovenia, and they are going to be locking horns on Friday, and Germany is going to be locking horns with Spain into the mix. And today we're really having Netherlands in the mix, Austria in the mix, and so on and so forth with Turkey. So let's see close to 200-300 likes on this video. Don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on this channel. We are having a little bit about Matt Hummels and Paul Lebile Pogba into the mix. So hope you really get what you really expect from this video. And it's Rokan David. My initials are already onto this beautiful YouTube channel of ours. We are left with 48 subscribers to hit 21,900 subscribers. And let's obviously make it a point that before the end of this week, we see to it that we get to the levels of 22,000 subscribers into the mix. Now, let's obviously get to Fabrizio Romano as we thank God for the gift of life, and for the Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum. Now, a story coming in through from Fabrizio Romano read that Victor Osimhen's plan is still to leave Napoli this summer, as movement is expected soon. After a quiet June, Napoli expect proposals to arrive for Osimhen, as he could be on the move. The release clause is around 120 million euros, preference for Premier League, but story is still open. So, his preference is to join the Premier League. And if I told you to ask you which Premier League team is obviously looking in to sign Victor Osimhen and has always gone ahead to push to sign him, I tell you Arsenal. For Chelsea, they are looking elsewhere. Marc Guiu, a striker from Barcelona, has gone ahead to sign for Chelsea for 6 million euros. You know, they are having Nicholas Jackson, they are having Nkunku. And I don't believe that if they are having Guiu, Nkunku, and Nicholas Jackson, they can go anywhere near the man Victor Osimhen. And I don't believe that Chelsea will be having the finances to obviously come in through and really cap this deal to go into their way. But never say never for Chelsea, because no one thought that they could go in for Moise Caicedo, but towards the end of the summer transfer window, they attacked that deal and they hijacked it from Liverpool, and they paid 116 million pounds to purchase Moise Caicedo from Brighton to the side of Chelsea. So never say never for Chelsea. They can surprise you, and Arsenal have gone ahead to fall a victim each and every time they've gone ahead to tussle hit for the signature of any player. You remember that of Mikhailo Modric when Chelsea came in through and really hijacked a deal that Arsenal had gone ahead to obviously put into their hands for close to 6 months, but they lost this player to Chelsea. So when Chelsea attacks, they come full force. And for Arsenal, they are really trying to see if this price is really knocked down, as I'm going to be showing you the next 1 minute from a source coming in from Napoli. And Arsenal and Chelsea are the teams, but trust me, Victor Osimhen would prefer to come in at Arsenal. And the only hinge is the amount of money that this team is really requesting in for. 120 million euros, approximately 106 million pounds is what the side of Napoli is really wanting. And Arsenal is like, we can't pay that amount of money, and we need to negotiate and see to it that all goes on as planned. And Napoli needs to sell, because we all know that Victor Osimhen earns close to 200,000 pounds a week, and Napoli are like, we cannot be affording that money because you're not in the Champions League. And if at all you keep Victor Osimhen at the club of Napoli and he's earning that hefty price, and you're having Kvaratskhelia, one of the players that wants out, and you want him to really put pen to paper on a new deal, you'll need to obviously give him money in the same ilk, like 200,000 pounds a week. And for every player who will be coming in at Napoli will be like using Victor Osimhen as a benchmark, something that Napoli don't want to obviously face, and they're really working tooth and nail to see to it that this deal really comes to pass. Even PSG has been one of those teams that have gone ahead to approach, but we haven't got a huge movement. Victor Osimhen doesn't want to go elsewhere. He wants to go to the Premier League, and teams in Saudi Arabia have always gone ahead to come in through and really show huge interest in the player. The player has been like, I don't want to come that side. I'm really, really ready to obviously get to the levels of really playing in the Premier League. But he wants Arsenal, and it's the preference, sorry, it's his preferred destination for Victor Osimhen, and he likes the team. And even Arsenal not disappointing him, because they are like, you are showing us interest, we are gonna fight to see to it that we get you in, and if that happens, then we'll obviously get you in. But a condition is going to have to be said by the club of Arsenal, and we've been told by Martino, Napoli, fly on the wall from Napoli, that Arsenal want Napoli to reduce Victor Osimhen's release clause. Obviously, yeah, you've had it right. Arsenal, like, if you are to do any business with you, you need to obviously reduce the release clause, because Arsenal feel like 105 million pounds is really huge, and I don't know how much they are willing to pay. But the last time I did a story about Arsenal and the amount of money they are willing to pay to the side of Napoli. It was 75 million pounds north. That is it. And remember, Napoli got in this player for 60 million euros. That is like 52 million pounds. And they would have gone ahead to make a profit of like 20 million pounds from Victor Osimhen. And the team at Napoli is like, why in the world should we make a loss of close to 30 million pounds of the release clause? But they should put it in consideration that the player never shone during the previous season. If at all he did, then clubs would have been there to really pay that amount of money. I tell you, if Victor Osimhen had gone ahead to score 30 goals plus last season, Arsenal wouldn't have been negotiating for reduction on the release clause. That is it. Arsenal would have gone ahead to go in and obviously pay that amount of money. So that is one of the things that Arsenal would have gone ahead to do, because it was concrete that business was going to be done. But right now, they really have a fallback position to really hinge on and obviously tell Napoli, look, you put in this buyout clause when this player was earning this huge amount of, when really on form, but last season he didn't really look good. I remember it very well when Man United wanted to sign Jadon Sancho in the summer of 2020. Bayern was calling in for 108 million pounds. Hear me out. 108 million pounds. Sorry, Borussia Dortmund was calling in for 108 million pounds. Now, United was like, we cannot do that deal, because by that time, Sancho had gone to obviously put in, I think, 17 goals and 16 assists, 33 goal involvements. And they went ahead, obviously, extend one more year on his contract. And United was like, we are pulling out of this deal. We are not going to be doing it. And it's not really making any financial sense. And then the next season, United went ahead and signed Jadon Sancho for 73 million pounds. Would it be the same tactic that Arsenal is going to be using on Victor Osimhen, that they'll pull out of the deal intentionally, knowing that no team is going to come out to trigger the clause, and then come for him next season? Big question mark. But remember, Arsenal has on several occasions not gone in for a player they failed to sign the previous season. We've seen it with James Maddison, Yuri Tielemans, Douglas Luiz, and very many others. When Arsenal tries to get you and they really don't get you that season, they move on easily. You get? But Arsenal might also be there, and they are like pulling out of the deal, and then they are like waiting to see, is there any other team that is coming in through and is really getting this guy on a cheap? You get? And maybe they will attack. But I think that's not the best tactic. The best tactic is to negotiate a deal like what they're doing right now, to say to it that a reduction is made onto the side of Victor Osimhen release clause, something that is really going to be hard for the side of Napoli. Napoli are really hard side to negotiate with. If you remember those days of Kauli Koulibaly, teams were offering 70 million pounds, and the man was like, no, I want 90, I want 100. And at last, he lost him at 31 million pounds. Yet, 4 or 5 years back, would have gone ahead to get 75 and then jog on. So, we wait and see how that pans out. But Victor Osimhen to Arsenal is really on, and he wants to really go ahead and really play for the club of Arsenal. That is Victor Osimhen. Now, we have a free agent known as Matt Hummels, and Build from Germany, credible source, have gone ahead to break a story that the interest from Italy in Matt Hummels is getting stronger and stronger. Specifically, AC Milan and Inter Milan want him. Now, Matt Hummels is a free agent who feels like he should be playing in top leagues. And teams like AC Milan and Inter Milan are interested in him because of his experience. And he's not yet off the pace. You saw his work that led the side of Borussia Dortmund to the finals of the Champions League by scoring in both semi-finals. That is Matt Hummels. And I think it was an advertisement for him. And these teams are like, we can offer him some 2 years, obviously coming through and play in our teams. Now, the fight is on. AC Milan and Inter Milan, remember, all these clubs are in Milan and they play on the same stadium, And as it stands, it is all up on the cards. And what is going to be put up on the cards? They want this guy, AS Roma is also one of those that has been interested in signing Matt Hummels. But when AC Milan and Inter Milan come in through, there is no way AS Roma can come in through to win this deal. So he was left out of the Germany national team that played in the Euros, something that I believe was really a very huge mistake, because if you're having these youngsters, you need to obviously have this big star that has experience, that is Matt Hummels. Not that he's going to come in through to obviously do the needful and play all the games, but you'll need him at a certain point X, when experience is really paramount. Because for me, I see Rudiger as a player who is just one mistake away. Schatterbach is good, but you see to it that he's making really huge mistakes. Like when they're playing Denmark, he gifted out a ball, I think, like on one occasion. You understand? Yet games like these don't call in for any error of mistake. You remember yesterday, Vertonghen, the goal that France scores, Cole Moani, just a sloppy shot, and it deflects off Vertonghen into the back of the net, and it went on to be given to him as an own goal. So this is where experience comes in through, and you don't need to make any mistake. And even if he's not onto the pitch, you put him to obviously act as glue to that camp and obviously give those players what we call the pre-match meditation and really paint a picture on how they should be doing it. Because I believe he's one of those players that has been the German national team so long, and in 2014 he was in Brazil when Germany went ahead to win the World Cup, and I think he's one of the few left on the team that went ahead to obviously be in Germany and won that big tournament in there for you. So we wait and see which team is he going to choose. Is it AC Milan or Inter Milan? And other teams from Saudi Arabia, teams from the side of USA America have come up and obviously tried to persuade him to obviously join them, but he's like, no way, I'm still here. Now we go to Paul-Ebile Pogba. Yesterday he was in Dusseldorf when France was knocking out the side of Belgium, and he had something to say to the Sky Sports. By the way, ever since Paul Pogba was suspended for 4 years, we haven't gone ahead to hear a lot from him. But yesterday, Sky Sports happened to get an interview from him, and this is what Paul-Ebile Pogba had to say about his situation down there. He said, I want to fight this injustice. An old and fake interview came out recently. Pogba is not finished. Pogba is here until you see me that I'm finished. Don't worry. I have a desire to come back. I'm still a Juventus player. I have the contract, but have not had the opportunity to speak to the directors. There is silence. They are probably waiting for the result of the appeal, but you have to ask them. So Paul Pogba went ahead to appeal, and he's waiting to see what is going to be coming out of that appeal. But all in all, it's really one of the moments that is really taking the world by storm, that Paul Pogba was banned for 4 years for really failing what we call the doping test. And he's a man who can live well without even doing what we call getting in those pennies from the football, because he's an influencer. When we look at TikTok, he's really having some huge fans, Instagram, X, and very many other platforms. So he can influence, and looks like he has some acting in him, and I won't be shocked that if at all his appeal doesn't go on as to plan, and it's confirmed that he should really leave, or he should really serve the suspension of 4 years, or the penalty of 4 years. I won't be shocked if at all Hollywood superstars and directors look at him to obviously become one of those actors in Hollywood. I won't be surprised, but football is missing him, and he promised so much and he delivered just a little, because on his day, he's one of the best midfielders in the world in his position, either playing as a number 8 or in number 10 into any team he's playing in for. But he was there and he was supporting France, and France went ahead to obviously not disappoint him. Though the display was not all that vintage, but I tell you what, they came, they represented, and they conquered Belgium on the night. Today, there are some 2 games that are going to be played into the Euros, and let me obviously drop some huge update about this. Now, Romania today is playing Netherlands at 19 hours, and then Austria is playing Turkey, 22 hours. And then we'll rest on Wednesday and Thursday. Then on Friday, the quarterfinals, 19 hours, Spain versus Germany, Portugal versus France into the mix. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. This is Rokan David. Hope you're really having fun and everything is really moving on into the right direction as you want it. Your reactions to Victor Osimhen's preference, all Arsenal, Victor Osimhen's preferred destination. What do you make about it? Do you think Napoli will knock down that price to the price tag that Arsenal really wants it to be at? Secondly, where do you think Matt Hummels is going to be playing next? At AC Milan or Inter Milan? And let's obviously have a little bit of a chat about Paul Pogba. Do you think he'll obviously be given green light to play football again after he made an appeal in the Court of Arbitration for Sports? All that and more into the comment section below. We thank God for the gift of life. First video of the day. Yesterday we went for 5. Today I know we might even go for more because we are fully charged to the capacity. Barakallahu fikum to the Muslims, the Christians. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Ciao, ciao.